PA GYA is a literary festival, which is a 3-day event focused on literature, books, and writing. The aim of the festival is to bring writers and readers together and establish a framework for future literary events in Ghana. Please help me welcome Mamle Kabu, a co-director of Writers Project of Ghana, who is also a consultant for PA GYA, and Efia Kisiwa, who is the co-director for PA GYA. Ladies, you're welcome to Africa 6 News. So PA GYA, tell us about it. What is this PA GYA all about?
Okay, well, first of all, just to clarify, I'm one of the directors of the Writers Project of Ghana. I have two other directors, co-directors. Martin Eblewogbe is one of the, he's really the engine behind PA GYA. And I'm here to represent all of us today, together with Ifya. PA GYA is a way to really galvanize the writing community. And when I say writing, I really mean any form of literary expression, which isn't always written. Especially here in Ghana, we have forms of literary expression that don't necessarily find their way, into the ink of a pen or onto a computer screen, but they are still forms of literary expression. So PA GYA is a way to try to harness all that as much as we can. Also to make the most of, as you said, the other writing events that we have organized during the year, the people that we have met in the course of organizing those events, use our connections with writers at home and outside of Ghana to bring a really vibrant community together for a weekend, to establish new links, to make noise, and to have a good time.
All right, we live in a typical African society, and if you talk about literary works, I don't want to say it's abstract, but it doesn't sound very tangible in the eyes of people who live in our part of the world. So how can we, as a people, as Africans, make very good use of this literary festival that you have introduced, and how can it be relatable to our situation?
Well, I think we've made it as accessible as possible this year through social media, because of course COVID-19 has made access and connections difficult for everybody, not only in the writing world. So this year we've used the social media platforms, we've used the internet to bring PA GYA to people directly in their homes. We're going to live stream all the events. We're going to make sure that people can reach us through YouTube, through the different major social media platforms, and as well as coming to the Goethe Institute where the events will take place. We're going to have the festival as a physical festival for people who are at home, and as a virtual festival for people who are not here. So it's going to be sort of half and half, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I was going to say that, it looks like what you would say a blessed curse, the pandemic, because this year we have a lot more people that we couldn't ordinarily have access to joining the festival. So it's kind of expanded now. We know that we can reach more people, or can have more participants and have more views from across the world without having to have them here physically, because that has been a challenge. So it actually has opened our eyes to more possibilities.
Well, there's this popular saying that if you want to hide something from black people, the best way to do it is to hide it in a book. And so literary work sounds very nice. How can we change the narrative of, this black people not being interested in literary works or literature for that matter?
I think if it's a popular saying, we should make it unpopular, because it smacks of a sort of colonial rhetoric to me, and I don't think we should embrace it for ourselves. First of all, as I said, I don't think all literary expression is necessarily written, and therefore the fact that somebody is not actually reading a book doesn't mean that they're not engaging with the creative arts.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why I use the term colonial, because I think we often define ourselves by external concepts and terms. And that's what I don't like about that saying. Also, of course, I mean, we are here, we are reading, we're writing, we're talking, we're using sophisticated equipment. I think we need to challenge that concept. I think we own a very original canon of creative work. Some of it we can define as literary. It intersects with music and drama and so on. We need to be proud of it. Certainly we do have issues related to people being able to read. It's not always about choosing to read. Sometimes it's about being able to read. And for that, we need to go deeper into our educational system and look at statistics related to, say, literacy, children in school, and so on. How much access do people really have to reading? I work in education as a field of social development, and what I constantly encounter when I talk to children all over the country is they are begging for storybooks. They call them storybooks. That's books of fiction, children's books, what children read all over the world, and our children don't have enough access to such books. So the desire is there.
I think that was true some years ago, some decades ago, but it's no longer true. It's a saying, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is true. Something that is popular it doesn't qualify to be the truth all the time. So, like Mamle said, it's just access for some people, but we have a lot more people reading than you could actually think of. And then, like she mentioned, other forms of literature that are very intangible, like what we have in our local setting. If you go to rural areas, they have a lot of storytelling.
I was actually coming to
yes,
that.
all those are things that we think is just like she mentioned. A lot of our fundamentals are rooted in what the colonization brought to us. We had a lot more beautiful stories. We had a lot, even our proverbs, all those things, they count. And then, so we have a lot more. I mean, it doesn't have to be in a book per se. I mean, the sharing of knowledge, that's why we have reading sessions, we have where people just sit and listen, and then they can make sense out of what is being said and then contribute to it as well.
Okay, I would really want you to expand on that. Is it a preserve for only those who can speak English?
We have a panel that is dedicated to Ghanaian languages and Ghanaian language writing. And even though, I mean, the easiest writings you could reach is what is written in English. So we are also trying to help people who are trying to instill the interest of writing and then reading or making or building literature in our local languages too. Because people relate to language that they can easily have access to. So that is also part. And we realize that is bringing a lot more people into the fold and understanding what we do. So it's not just about English, really.
So one of the things that WPG seeks to do is really to make it very clear that the literary platform is not only about the written word in books, it's about creative expression in forms that intersect. And we make it our mission to highlight those forms of expression as much as we can, even if they're not written. I personally have really worked to find people who can perform poetry in Ghanaian languages. I've actually been looking for a rap artist to come and talk about the lyrics. So if anybody's out there, please come and do one of our Ghana Voices sessions and talk about your lyrics. We really intend to address this whole sort of notion that if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. We want to address it, A, by redefining what literature is, and B, by bringing on board all our different forms of creative and literary expression.
Igniting passion in the literary arts. Why did you choose this theme?
Actually, that theme is for PA GYA in general.
In general,
Since PA GYA
okay.
began. Yeah, this year's theme is resilience, and it's related to the COVID virus. But igniting passion in literary arts, PA GYA it means to light a flame or strike a match or something. to start a
PA GYA.
fire.
PA GYA.
Yes.
Ignite.
PA GYA.
So we see the
Yeah.
Not PA GYA.
PA
Left.
No.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
that
this is
confusion
PA
has
GYA.
been there. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
PA
so
GYA.
light a
Okay.
fire basically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's really to stimulate that interest in the literary arts. What we find in trying to discover talent and give it a platform is that often people don't even recognize their own talent. People tend to identify literature and the literary arts with academia, and they feel intimidated. Is my talent real? Can I really contribute? Can I, everybody who dreams of being a writer or a literary artist has a lot of fear associated with it. And we try to create a platform where people can come into the community and recognize that what they have is real talent and that they must express it, and share it. And so igniting the passion is part of that process. It's for me, as somebody who wanted to be a writer as a child, I had no idea how to do it, and many people have no idea how to do it, and many people are very intimidated. So we want a place where people can feel free, they can feel comfortable, they can start to express themselves, and together we can feel that passion and we can feel that excitement in the literary arts, and then share it with the wider world. That's really what is meant. And for this year's theme, resilience. Yes, it is about surviving these difficult times. It's about not allowing the effect of the virus to stop the expression of the literary arts.
If you follow discussions generally, and especially if you hear the political discourse on our airwaves, you hear people say that, you talk about macroeconomics and all the beautiful English about fixing the economy and all that. How does that put money in our pockets? How do we feel the effect of what you claim you have done as politicians? How do we feel it in our pockets? I'm trying to relate this to the literary festival. How does PA GYA in our economic situation, how do we feel it in our pockets? How does it help the economic situation of Africa, and how does it lift our people from poverty?
The effects that we get from the festival, the coming together of people from different walks of life, sharing of knowledge, there will be a ripple effect at the end of the day. There are people who did not know what abilities that they have, or growing up sometimes you are put in small boxes that this is what you have to do to be able to get to this stage in life or something, and we feel that this is a small contribution, if you will, that we can make to development, because if you put knowledge in somebody's head, that's something no one can take away from them. And what we share there is not just, say, poetry. We have other panelists who talk about economics, who talk about psychology, who talk about mental health, a lot of other things. So it's like a cocktail of things that bring together human experiences that we use in our everyday lives, and then experiences that we can share. So you will not come to PA GYA and be given money, but you get knowledge, and you understand certain abilities, you gain some confidence, and all those are things that come together to build an individual. So it doesn't have to be the mainstream things that we think bring income into people's pocket, but that is our contribution. And there are writers who are making it big in the world. So, riches is not just about money. Wealth is about friendship. It's about what you have in your mind. It's about who you can talk to when you, in terms of need, or if you need some mental health support or anything. That's what I think.
People tend to think of storybooks, fiction, poetry, and so on, but when we talk about writing and promoting writing, we mean all writing. And these days, writing on social media is a new form that is very important, and it's so instant, it's so effective, and it's just so widespread. There's never really been anything like it before. And a lot of the writers that we work with, they're also writing blogs, they're writing on websites, they're writing on internet platforms that are very influential and very, very powerful. And so we are working with people writing across the board. creative nonfiction, journaling, fiction, poetry, so many lifestyle, so all these things are important. Strengthening the voices of writers, I think, is important to any healthy economy. It's important to any healthy democracy. So these are things that are really critical in any country that considers itself middle income or developed or whatever. If you don't have that, you're not going to be in that kind of bracket. It's a very important part of the development of a healthy society. So I think that's what our contribution is. And if you look at the schedule, I'll pull out one example. We have a panel on Saturday morning at 11:15 a.m. called Solace and Sisterhood, Writing Through Trauma. One of the people on that panel is a woman called PA GYA, who runs a support group for single parents. And one of the reasons I invited her to join the festival was because of her powerful posts on social media. Yesterday she posted something in honor of the day of the girl child, I think. And her writing just, it attracts people who come and share their experiences. So she'll be teamed up with a fiction writer who has written about healing from a painful relationship through fiction, and also with a mental health professional. So bring these three people together. They are not all just writing storybooks, but they're all writing. And their writing is powerful, and it reaches out to people who can learn from the things that they are sharing, and who can even plug into support groups as a result.
What you're trying to do is to give young people and people generally a new sense of direction, that life is not all about becoming the next big accountant or starting the next startup to become the next Facebook or anything, but it is very important that we engage in literary writing and we get some literary skills, and that has an effect basically on our lives.
It has a huge effect.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
when I was in secondary school in Achimota, if you were not a science student, it was like you were herded into the goat pen. If you couldn't do science, you were not among the smart ones. You kind of did whatever you could. And I think that's really wrong. And I've been educated in a couple of different countries. I've also learned to appreciate the value of my artistic intelligence, fortunately, because so many people in so-called developing countries are not made to appreciate that as intellect. If you don't have a so-called useful skill, something that can immediately be applied to the making of money, then it seems to be inferior. And I think that is a huge loss for us. It's a huge loss.
This part of your contribution is very, very important. You really needed to add. After this, what next? How do we sustain the momentum to make sure that the flame is still burning, the torch continues to burn till we come 2021?
So the flame has been burning ever since, even before PA GYA started, because Writers Project has year-long programs, right, that are lined up for every Sunday until the pandemic, and then the radio show went on a short break. That's one of the biggest platforms for writers in Ghana, I would say, because it gives young writers the opportunity to share their work, to have experience on radio, on media, put it across for a lot more people to hear. And we have, like you mentioned earlier, the Ghana Voices series, which is now Literary Crossroads, going things to every month. We have a writer come. It's not just Ghanaian writers. We have writers from all over Africa. Sometimes we have music. We have we actually have a lot of programs. We have some that go live on Instagram. We have, even within the pandemic, we had a lot of other programs that came up that you engage with audience every time, and then we have workshops that run throughout the year. So
Writing workshops.
Writing workshops, yeah. So and just recently we hosted Wole Shoinka, and we do have the flame burning. The momentum is never lost. The PA GYA is almost like the point where we all bring together what we've gathered in the course of the year and then share amongst ourselves, and then we go on and build and come back together. together. Yes.
Yeah. Moreover, the photos, the videos, the live stream from the
Yeah.
festival will continue to be
Always
available.
there. We have
after
a
the
website
festival.
that runs. So
Yeah.
we have social media platforms that we share a lot of other things like opportunities for young writers and everything. You can find them on our social media platforms.
My final question is how to leverage the digital platform, you know, because back in the day when you talk about literary works, we know that you have to like get hard copies of books in your homes, on your shelves. But now, how do we, you know, make sure that the energies of the youth are diverted towards literary works, leveraging on the digital age that we're living?
We meet them on their own turf. We don't actually have to divert anything. We are channeling it right to them. As we said already, we are very present on social media. I think I have to consult the younger people for all the different platforms that we're on, but I know that we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a few others probably.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then we are building on the YouTube as well.
Yeah. And
we have a website also.
yeah, we have a website. Yeah. We encourage people to engage in writing through social media platforms. There are a number of different things. I've heard of Insta stories and
they have Bookstagram where people share
Instagram.
Yeah, or did I get it? Yeah, I think it's Bookstagram where people share books and they write about books. Yes, there are people who share. They even have challenges like book as clothes or something. So you find people bringing books that they have read and then having it close to it. Some dresses that have the same color scheme. Yes. So we engage with people on those terms. We try to move with the world where it is moving. That's why we have even now we have the radio show streaming live, or we have it live on Instagram. We used to just have you listening, but now you can join in on Instagram as well. So yes, people have blogs that we talk about on the show. A lot of young writers would publish on their blogs or in their Instagram post or something. So that is some engagement that we have continuously.
So you heard it from the ladies. The creative director, Ifya Kisiwa, and the programs consultant to PA GYA Festival, Mamle Kabu. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Thank you.
And I entreat all of you. I'm going to be there from the 16th. Is it Thursday, right?
No, Friday.
Friday.
From Friday to Sunday.
Friday to Sunday, 16th to the 18th of this month.
That's right.
So you're all welcome to the PA GYA Festival. And where is this taking place?
At the Griffin Institute.
Okay, all right. So you
next
have
weekend.
Adjacent NAFTI.
okay.
Or it's close to Soul Clinic.
Is there any phone number that those who don't have a good sense of navigation can call to be directed?
Okay, so that's yes.
Yes, we
So,
can pick the phone.
yes, and then also you can join. I mean, you can follow the program, the schedule, and everything. You can visit our website, writersprojectofghana.com, to find everything about the festival.
Yes,
about
it's all
the
there.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at WritersPG and then on Instagram.
Writers PG.
Yes,
And the website is
Writers Project of Ghana.
Writers Project of Ghana. Okay.
.com.
So if you just have any challenge in finding your way to the Guthrie Institute, you can call 026 766 8890. I repeat the number 026 766 8890.